Hello and welcome back to the Demis Hellen channel. We are back with an uplifting trance tutorial, and this is in the form of creating an acid in Vital. So this is a free preset that you can follow along, and then there is a Patreon pack coming out this month with some Vital acids. They're sort of geared towards trance, but they are just acids in general on Patreon. So if you want that, you can head over to the link in the description for the Patreon channel if you want to support. But if you can't or don't want to, that's absolutely fine as well. You can grab this preset here for free today. Onto the sound design, we can now go into the advanced tab on our new oscillator and drag the transpose down to 12, so that does the whole oscillator down by -12, just saves a lot of faffing here with the pitch. I'm going to add 5 voices into the mix. I'm going to bring the unison D tune down. I'm going to bring the phase down to 0. It's just a good sort of habit to get into when you're doing stuff like this. And that should be our sound. Going through there, and we're going to feed this through a digital filter on a 24 dB. Just turn the resonance down for a second. I'm going to increase the drive. Just going to have a bit of key tracking in there, just a little bit. And we're in a good starting position there. So LFO1, you can see I've already got the steps selected, and we're going to create the sort of gated effect to start. So I'm going to turn the level down, attach LFO1, just bring it down a bit. We're on 16 steps. I'm just going to skip straight to what I've created so you can see exactly what you need to do and just copy what I've done. Okay, so this is what you need to do. Just create that pattern, use 16 there, so you've got 16 sort of steps to work with. Leave it on 1/2 and leave smoothing down at 0, and you'll get this. And don't get me wrong, you can use any pattern you want. That's just the one that I used for the track. So if you want the exact preset and the exact settings, then this is what you need. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually feed this through a second filter, and doing this you can just click filter 1 down here at the bottom, and that'll give you a routing option of filter 1 through to filter 2, and then obviously out to the effects and out. And what this enables us to do is add a second filtering option on the top of our sound. And I'm going to use what this looks like a peak, or maybe even a very weak bandpass, and it's just going to give us the option to sort of smooth out the sound a little bit. It's going to make it sound less bassy and less trebly at the same time, and it's going to sweep around when we move the mod wheel as well. So I'm going to attach the mod wheel here to this, and I'm not going to have it going all the way. I just want it to sort of like open up to a sort of sparkly end, but not too high. So I just want a little bit to come through, so I'm just using the mix on the second filter. So we're really focusing on where this peak is here. So I want it to have a little bit of more of a nasally tone. That's what's going to come through the mix, but you tune that to where you need it to be in your mix. It's not always going to be the same every time, but that is roughly where I want it. But we're going to switch this to the Dirty 24. So it's a little bit tighter and it's just got a bit of grunge to it. Okay, that sounds a lot better there. So then when we move this filter around, turn that filter off. It has a lot of low end in there. I just want to filter that out and sort of filter out the really tops and the really lows. It's entirely up to you how you do it, but this is what I did for that particular preset. So I'm going to add a second oscillator in. I'm going to -12 this, so it's 1 octave under the original. So that would be -24 if you didn't change it in the advanced tab. I'm going to send it to filter 1, and I'm going to turn the level down and attach this, but I'm going to attach it at a bit of a lower level. It's just to add some grunge to the sound. Just a little bit, but you can tell now because of the second filter we haven't got as much low end, so we can add a bit of grunge in there. So in terms of the sound design, that's pretty much it for this page. There is a little bit of movement using the LFOs, but we're going to do that at the end. But what we are going to do is look at using some distortion, some EQ, like so. Possibly another filter, but for now, let's just try this. So I'm going to use the soft clipper. it's bringing in a lot of low end naturally, so we can use the filter and we can go to pre, turn the blend to the right so we get a high pass. Set that where you need to set it so it fits into your mix. But you can hear there's a lot of overlap. So if you look at these notes that are triggering, obviously down at the bottom are notes that are not on, so the volume is not active. And you can hear this is starting to sort of like slur and spill into those areas. So it's only very subtle, but what I'm going to do is bring the mix down on that and attach that to that as well. So then it's only coming on the notes. It's a little bit tighter and it just holds everything together. And I'm also going to use on the EQ this just to tidy up that low end. Like so, just brighten it up how you need to. I'm just doing some very basic edits here and that should sort us out. And then I'm going to add the phaser on here and I'm just going to turn the mix down to 0 for now so we're not hearing it, but we're going to mix and blend some phaser into it later. So now what we can do is we can turn the mod wheel down and we can use the LFO to move the filter or have the option to obviously override that with our mod wheel. I'm going to use LFO2 to move this around. Let's put this on 4:1. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on to sync so it's not sort of restarting every time I stop and start the note. It'll carry on, which works a lot better. And I'm going to switch it to seconds. It seems to be a little bit sort of too linear. So let's start by... maybe a bit slower. So it's only restarting there just like you heard because it's looping back round on the bar on our loop that we have. So it'll just carry on going and about 6.4 seconds seems to be sort of like natural and flowing for that. And then we can attach that to the cutoff of here and we're just going to move this a smidge as well. And from that you can hear the acid sound is starting to come through quite nicely. We're not trying to go for the classic acid. I know a lot of you are going to go out there and start ranting on about the classic acid, but we're not trying to recreate that. One, it's vital. Two, we're trying to fit it into a trance track, so it's acting more like a mid-bass topper. So with this, I'm going to add in some delay as well. I can't see that on my screen at this point. And let's add this onto ping pong mode for a second. So that's just to add a little bit of context and interest. I usually do it third party a lot of the times because I need to change the order in which the effects are in. But then we can add that phaser in. And you can see it just starts to soften the sound up a little bit and adds that extra little bit of movement. Again, it's up to you how you do that. But what we can do with this is just bring that center point down a little bit more, I think. Just to let some of those highs still come through. I think that works quite nice. And that is the preset. That is everything that you need to know about creating that particular acid. for the track that I've done. And there we are. We have an acid preset for Vital. So you can copy that and save it. There is no preset down in the description if you're not familiar with the format. It is a sort of like watch, learn and copy sort of episode, so that then it actually sticks in your mind and you learn how to create those sounds, and then you can obviously make more and adapt your learning into sound design. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, you know what to do. And if you want to support the Patreon and get some more acid sounds like this as well, you can do. Plus everything else that I've posted in the past will be available to you depending on the tier that you choose. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.